Hey everybody, it's me Stacy here at Scrapbooking Made Simple with our very last YouTube mini class of 2013. Now it is Christmas Eve and I'm in the store all by myself. We were closed today. The SMS girls are home with family and friends and we'll be closed tomorrow but reopening on December 26th for a few days and then closed for the new year. But this is the time that I come in and usually send out my very last email for the year. And I thought, no, this year I'm going to try and do this via YouTube and see how it goes. Because I usually, put a little message from Stacy in there. And so hopefully I can do that via the YouTube without sapping up, because I am the biggest sap you have ever met. I cry at Hallmark commercials. I cry at Folgers Crystals commercials. I cry when there's a military mom or dad who comes out to the middle of the field when my husband's watching football because the family doesn't know that they're home and it's a big surprise and I break out in tears over that. But I embrace my sappiness. And I've always been a sap, so I have learned to embrace my inner sappiness. And hopefully I can get through this message without sniffing up, okay? Now we also have YouTube winners from the last YouTube to talk about, and I have got some new product to show you, so I'm excited to do that as well. But first, I just want to quickly say from Scrapbooking Made Simple to you, from me to you, thank you for such an amazing year. I sat down and I kind of thought about what this year has been to me, and it brought me back to my dad. And my dad's 86 years old, and we take care of my dad. And I remember him saying when I was little, Stacy, do something. Even if it's wrong, do something. And back then I think it meant, Stacy, I'm not the only one who's gonna rake up these leaves. You need to do something. You need to help. But he kept saying it to me as I got older and older, and it took on a different meaning. It really did. It took on the meaning of, Stacy, do something even if it's wrong. Go try. Go try. Because if you try and you succeed, well, that's awesome. And if you try and you fail, then you'll learn something from it and you'll take from that and you'll pull up your bootstraps and you'll try again and you'll do better because you will have learned from your mistakes. But don't just stand there and do nothing. You've got to go out and try, because you never know what's going to come your way. Well, this year we tried. This year I did things I never ever thought possible, that I was even capable of doing. I didn't know that these YouTubes would become what they are. I didn't know that people would respond the way you have. I didn't know that I could be the shop that didn't hop, but you gave me so much encouragement that I tried. And with every epic success, sometimes you have epic failure, but that's okay. I mean, the shop that didn't hop was a huge success, and the orders were a huge success. The shipping for us was an epic failure. But I listened to my dad, and I tried, and I learned, and you've allowed me that opportunity to grow and to learn. And I want the same for you. I want to give back to you what you have given to me, because I don't know how long my 15 minutes of fame here on YouTube is going to last. And if I didn't tell you how much you have given to me, how much encouragement and the prayers and the support that you have given to me, and if I didn't give that back to you, I wouldn't have tried. So this is my attempt. I want you to know that you need to try. If it's creating an art journal because you thought that you wanted to do an art journal, then try. If it's tapping a person on the shoulder that you've admired from a distance to introduce yourself and say, hey, I'm Stacy, try. Tap that person on the shoulder and introduce yourself. They may say hi right back to you, but until you try, you don't know. It may be learning how to play the piano. Whatever it is, you can do this. I know you can. And I know you can because you've helped me do it. So now it's my turn to look to you and say, do something. Even if it's wrong, give it a shot, give it a try, And if your life is in a place where everything is running smooth and you love everything about your life, then pass that on to somebody else. A friend, maybe you have a friend who's the most awesome baker who does cupcakes, and they've always wanted to try to sell their cupcakes. Well, nudge them a little bit, encourage them, tell them to try, because until they do, nothing will ever happen. It has been such a year this year, so many highs and a few lows, but you stood beside me and you've stood behind me, and it's more than I ever could have asked for. So from me to you, you have my support, you have my backing. When you doubt yourself, you listen to me and you go do it, because I listen to you. So Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy New Year. Let's bring in 2014 and make it just a resounding success. And if we have to learn a few more things, well, then let's hope we learn them quickly. And to my dad out there who said, Stacy, do something even if it's wrong. Well, Dad, I'm doing it, even if it's wrong. So we have winter chicken dinner, and I'm gonna move on now because I'm sapping up. Last YouTube we used Elizabeth Crafts, and we used indigo blue, new indigo blue stamps. So I have got prize packages for 3 lucky winners. And if you are the Nana of 4, congratulations, you have won a yummy prize package of Elizabeth Crafts in the indigo blue. If you are Louise Sanderson, oh, my nose is running, that's not very attractive. If you are Louise Sanderson, hello Louise, how are you doing? Congratulations, my dear. I am so excited you have won. And if you are Terry Turner, well, Merry Christmas, Terry Turner. Today is your day to win the YouTube Yummies. Now, how are all of you going to collect your YouTube Yummies? You're going to email Naomi at asksms@earthlink.net, and she is going to send them to you probably in the beginning of the new year, and she'll get all your prize packages out to you. But you got to email Naomi and say, I'm a winner chicken dinner from the YouTube, and she'll get you all hooked up. Now today I've got product from Sizzix, I've got product from Kaisercraft. We're going to be using mementos. Some of it's going to be a refresher, some of it maybe you haven't seen before, but I hope you stay with me, and down we go, okay? Alrighty, there we are. Oh, okay, so I have got new dies from Sizzix, oh, the glare, new dies from Sizzix, and I have new stamps from Kaisercraft. Now, the stamps are what they call a texture stamp. So it's used to add depth and dimension to your projects, whether it be scrapbooking or card making or mixed media, altered art. And the nice thing about their stamps, these texture stamps, is the size and the price. Normally, a background stamp is going to run you between $8 and probably $15 for just a single stamp. The way Kaisercraft has made these allows you to make it a background stamp without the cost. They're only $3.99, and for those of you who may not be big into stamping, this is a really great way to add a lot of background stamps to your collection without spending a tremendous amount of money, a lot of money. And for those of you who love stamping, well, this allows you to also have a background stamp that if you don't want to use the whole thing, you're not worrying about masking things off and such as that. So we've also got the Sizzix dies, and these dies, Sizzix only does it so many times, you know, maybe just once a year or so, but they include a bonus. This is the chair die, and it comes with a bonus embossing folder. Doesn't happen very frequently, and in fact, in this release, there's only 4 dies that come with a bonus embossing folder. But you pay for the die for the $19.99 or $20, and you get that embossing folder for free. Now, the benefit is all of this is going to be on the YouTube Yummy sale, so it's even going to be better pricing. But when you see that bonus on that front, if you're out shopping in your local independent mom and pop retailer, and you see that bonus right here, you want to say, okay, what's the bonus? Because you want to know what more you're going to get for your money, because you always want to get the very best value. And Sizzix has absolutely done that for you with the few dies that they have come out this December that are just yummy. Now, I think I'm going to start with the Kaisercraft stamps. I'm going to put that over to the side and talk just a few minutes about the Kaisercraft stamps. So I have got the Harlequin, the kind of distressed Harlequin here, And it is a clear acrylic stamp, and this is a clear acrylic block. Now, if you're unfamiliar with stamping, this is just a piece of acrylic, and this happens to be the Tim Holtz grid blocks. He sells them in a pack. I think you get 9 blocks for the price. And once you have that set, you really never need to buy another block again. And you never throw these away. You do want to wash them. Pardon mine, they're not very clean, but shh. And this is their clear stamp. Now, it's not sticky on the backhand side for those of you who are unfamiliar with clear stamps. It just clings right to it by static, and it doesn't come off. And when you're done stamping, you just wash them with a wet wipe and you're good to go. The clear stamps you use again and again and again. You never throw them away as well. So I really like them because of the size. I have an A2 size card here, and as opposed to a single stamp to cover the whole background of this card, which again would probably run me between $8 and $15, I can use this stamp to make my backgrounds, which then leaves me enough money to maybe pick up 2 or 3 of their other stamps, so I have a nice variety of background stamps. You really want to make the most out of your dollar, and I think Kaisercraft has done a great job. Now, for those of you who are seasoned stampers, this stamp is also nice because if you didn't want to do the whole stamp, make the whole background, with a large background stamp, you would have to mask off what you don't want it to stamp. Meaning, if I wanted to have it just do the top and stamp just the top, I would have to cover that bottom off so it didn't stamp down here. This gives you the availability to do whatever it is you want to do. And let me show you just how easy it is. Now, I've got my Memento inks here, and this is the dewdrop size, and it's dewdrop because of the shape. That's why it's called a dewdrop. You can get this is Rich Cocoa. You can get Rich Cocoa in a full-size ink pad. You can get it in a re-inker. You can get it into a marker. The only reason why it's called dewdrop is because of the size. Now, also, just quickly before I stamp, this is the full-size pad, and we recommend that you buy the full-size pad only for the colors that you're going to use frequently. So the blacks, the browns, if you use reds or blues frequently, then get the full-size pads. Mementos come in 36 colors, and they are the only ink that really works with Copics well. It's a dye-based ink, so it dries beautifully. But maybe, this is Bahama Blue, maybe Bahama Blue is not a color that you're going to use all the time. Then don't buy a full-size pad. Just get it in the dewdrop size for the $2.10. Then you can collect all the colors that are not your go-to colors, so you have them in your arsenal when you just happen to need that blue, but you haven't spent a ton of money for full-size pads. And that's how we view ink pads. Buy the full size when it's a color you're going to use all the time. Buy the smaller ones when it's a color you'd like to have, but you're not going to use it nearly as much. Both sizes can be re-inked with the re-inker. Absolutely. So when this dries out, you just buy the re-inker and re-ink it up, and it's ready to go again. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ink up my stamp. And I've got my little dewdrop size here, and I'm just giving it a good press all over. And then I am going to turn it over and press down. Now, I'm working on a stamp mat. This is a gushy stamp mat. It's from Doris. It sells for $3.99, and it allows the stamp something to sink into. If I was stamping on the table here, I would have nothing for that stamp to kind of sink into, so it makes a better contact. This stamp mat is half the size of what it actually is. So for $3.99, you can cut it in half and share it with a friend. We actually cut it in quarters, and then you can share it with 4 friends. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to press down and give myself a good stamp. Okay, so down we go. Now, I'm not going to do chest compressions. I'm not trying to revive my stamp. I'm just giving good pressure. And because I'm in the stamp mat, it will gush down just a little bit to make a better contact. Just a nice press, even pressure, and up. And I've started my stamp. Now you can see it's got little holes, and that's because that's the style of the stamp. It's kind of a texture, and it's kind of distressed. But if I wanted to continue on to make a full background, all I would have to do is re-ink. And you can see how handy the little sizes are. I really like the dewdrop size. I mean, I have plenty of the Memento Tuxedo Black and full size because we use black and brown a lot. But I do really like how handy the small ones are. I'm gonna turn it over. I'm just gonna kind of overlap just a little bit. Give a press down. Again, I'm not doing chest compressions. I don't have to because I've got this gush pad. And pull up. And I am making my own background. It's very simple, very effective, easy to do, all with an inexpensive clear stamp. Now, as a secret, if you don't have any blocks, but you have a Sizzix Big Shot machine, and you don't want to buy the Tim Holtz grid blocks, or you don't want to go out and buy blocks, you absolutely can use one of your cut plates as your block. Yes, you can. It'll cling, it'll stay right to it because it's acrylic. So if you don't have blocks, or you don't have blocks the right size, you can always use your cut plate or your do not cut plate from your Sizzix Big Shot machine. Now, I want to add a little more texture to this, so I'm going to put this one aside and I'm going to grab this one. And you're like, what do you mean by texture? Well, the really nice thing with the Memento inks is that they blend and they look beautiful together. I'm going to take the Toffee Crunch and I'm going to put that down on my stamp first. When I do this technique, you always start with the lightest color first. Always start with your lightest color first. So I'm taking down Toffee Crunch, which is lighter. Toffee Crunch is a lighter color than Rich Cocoa. Then I am going to come on over with my Rich Cocoa, and I'm just gonna hit it just in a few places. There, I just kind of tapped it just in a few places. Now I can turn it over and lay it down and press it in. No chest compressions, just nice all even pressure. And pull up. And now I have varying colors in there. I have light into darks, which adds even more dimension because now it's not just one solid color. So let's do that again real quick. I'm taking my lightest color. Which is the Toffee Crunch on the brown, my lightest color, and I'm putting that down first because then it won't contaminate. The dark brown can take the Toffee Crunch, but if I put the dark cocoa down first and then came in with Toffee Crunch, it would contaminate my pad, and I don't want to do that. So always start with your lightest color and then build the color on top of that. And here I'm going to take my Rich Cocoa, and I'm just going to hit. And there's no right or wrong, it's just hit or miss. And then I am going to take it and kind of put it on there. And down we go. Good press. And up. And you can see my background beginning to build. All with a $4 stamp. It doesn't always take a $15 stamp to achieve the look you want. Here, this one's all done. And now I could put my chair on top of it to build my card. How cute is that? This is a 5x7 card, so the stamp set, the Kaisercraft stamp is large enough to do 5x7 cards, but it started here. And I put it straight to the card base. You could make it for your altered art. You could use this for matting your pictures on your scrapbook page. There's so much you can do with these stamps, and because they're inexpensive, you can afford to have a nice collection of them. Okay? I want to show you, I did it also in the red, where I took red and yellow, and I put my yellow down first on my stamp pad, and then I kind of kissed it with the red. A totally different look, but just as fabulous to make your backgrounds for everything, for altered art. You could put this on thin paper, stamp on thin paper, and Mod Podge it onto your mixed media. There's just tons you can do. Kaisercraft, very inexpensive. Your Memento inks, if you go with the dewdrop size on the colors you don't use most frequently, you can have them all in your collection without a huge expense. Really, really nice. I really liked these stamps. I was really impressed with them, and they stamp really well. We're kind of stamping snobs here at Scrapbooking Made Simple. I have a lot of stampers, and let me tell you, they know what they like. And these were a huge hit, an absolute huge hit. And the styles, the distress styles, it just adds texture to what you're working on. And again, I want to say they have probably 15 styles maybe. These are the latest. The chevron is so cute. Chevron is just darling. So if you see these out there, don't pass them up. They're trying to give you options. They're trying to give you value. And that's why they are the size they are. I love them, and I think Kaisercraft did a great job. From that to that to that. Ta-da! Okay, we're gonna move on because now I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about the dies from Sizzix. They have come up with 4 different dies that all have a bonus embossing folder. So you're gonna pay for the Sizzix Bigs, which is normally $19.99, $20, but you're going to get that added benefit of that embossing folder. Now, I have got the die right here. I'm gonna move my stamp pad out of the way, I don't need it now. And I have got my Sizzix Big Shot machine, my 2013 Sizzix Big Shot machine. I'm going to pull it over, and you know the Big Shot machine is the die cutting machine of choice here at Scrapbooking Made Simple, because really there isn't anything it won't cut. It'll cut your memory box, it'll cut your spellbinders, it'll cut your Sizzix, it'll emboss Cuttlebug, it'll emboss Anna Griffin, it will emboss Doris. There's really nothing it won't do. I've got my Do Not Cut, can it get any bigger? I've got my Do Not Cut plate on the bottom. I've got my die face up, and the reason we have that Do Not Cut plate is so that this goes through nice and smooth each and every time. Eventually your plates will start to get cut into and warped. That's okay, that's all right, but you always, if possible, like to have that nice smooth bottom plate to just slide on through. Because they'll start to warp, and I mean, I know it looks bad. This isn't bad at all. Wait till you should see some of our plates. They're horrible. We use them until they literally crack in half. But people who are just now getting their Big Shot machine, maybe for Christmas, don't realize that yes, that die is going to cut into this top plate, and no, you haven't done anything to harm your machine. It's okay. Now you might hear some cracks and creaks and all sorts of stuff, but just ignore that. That's also okay. I'm gonna roll it on through. And, oh, mail's here. Roll it on through, and I have got my chair. But this certainly doesn't look like this. Well, I'm gonna show you how, because when you see how easy peasy it is, oh my gosh. So I take my die, put my die over there. Now I'm gonna pull out the embossing folder. And this is the embossing folder. I don't know if you can see, there's the chair there. Okay? When I open up the embossing folder, there's 2 sides to feel. One of it, the little dots for the chair, here are poking up, and one side, they're recessed in. That would be the male-female sides of the embossing folder that's going to make the embossing. Now, if I just wanted to emboss this plain and just have an ivory chair, I could just put it in here, turn it over, and line it up, because I can see the embossing through the translucent plastic. So I'm able to line up my chair so it's a perfect fit. Send it on through. In fact, we'll go ahead, we'll do it. Well, you know what? I'm gonna cut another one really fast. Let me just pull this over here. I should have cut 2. I'm gonna cut another one really fast, just so I have it, because I'll emboss one plain and I'll emboss one colored. So put it on, put it in, send it through. Now during our make and take, I was cutting 6 chairs at a time. I stacked 6 pieces of paper up on that die because it's a steel rule die, and I was able to cut 6 pieces of cardstock at one time. It was awesome. All right, so now I've got a secondary chair. That's what I want. So I've got my chair here. It's in my embossing folder. It's all lined up. I am going to grab my multi-purpose platform. Now this is the extended version, and it doesn't matter if you have the extended version or the shorter version that came with the pink and black Big Shot machine or the blue one from years ago. It doesn't matter as long as you have a multi-purpose platform. And again, this is the one that comes with the new machine. You're going to open it up to tab 1 because that is where you do your embossing. And it'll have a little picture. It'll have a little picture of embossing folders right there. And it doesn't matter if it's a Cuttlebug embossing folder, a Doris embossing folder, a Crafts 2 embossing folder, a Couture Creations embossing folder. Any translucent plastic like this is going to go on tab 1. I'm gonna put my Do Not Cut plate down, put my embossing folder, my second cut plate, and I am going to send it on through. Just like butter. Pull it out. Let's move that over there for a moment. And here we go. It's all embossed. Super cute, but not cute enough. We can do better. This time, I'm going to take and I'm going to ink my embossing folder. And the reason I talked to you about the 2 different sides of the embossing folder is because depending on what it is you want it to do, that's the side you're going to ink. If I want my dots to have lots of ink, like here, then I'm going to ink the side that has the dots that are raised. If I want the seat cushion to have all the ink on it, then I'm going to do the side where the dots are debossed, or inside where they're not raised. Now I'm going to take my Memento, I'm going to use my rich cocoa, and I am just going to ink this whole thing up. And you're going to say, oh my gosh, it's going to stain my embossing folder. No, trust me, it won't. This is going to wipe off with a baby wipe. All this ink is gonna come right off with a baby wipe. Now, what I wanna tell you is I'm not doing this. Can you see that I'm not doing that? Because what can happen is it may leave kind of the outer edge as an impression when you send it through. So I'm swirling so that it gets it all over and there's no necessarily defining mark of an outer edge. Okay, got it there, done. Now, I can't take my paper and line it up there because it's inked. No, I'm gonna take my paper and go to the opposite side and line it up on the opposite side and make it all lined up because you can see it. You can see, so you can line it up, and then when you're happy with it, then you close up your embossing folder. Okay, let's pull our Big Shot machine back over again. Got my Do Not Cut plate down. I've got my tab open to tab 1 on my multi-purpose platform. I've got my cut plate on top. And let's send it on through. Let's move this way again. Are you ready? Are you ready for some magic? Because it really is magic. You should have seen everybody at the Make and Take. They were like, oh! It was awesome. Magic. That is my kind of magic. This is my kind of crafting. Could you imagine trying to go in there and color this by hand? Oh, no, no, no. Well, you just ink up the embossing folder and send it straight on through. Look at how great that looks. Look at how crisp that is. Fabulous. Love it. Easy peasy mac and cheesy. And all we did was take and ink the embossing folder, put our blank die down, and send it on through. That's all we did. So, so simple. Okay? That is what makes the chair the chair. Before it was just, it was okay. But now it's detailed out like you can't believe. It's so wonderful. And Sizzix made it possible by giving you the extra embossing folder for free. And like I said, there's 4 dies that do that they just released this month that will do this. They don't do it often, but when they do it, they hit a home run. This was awesome. Now, can you do this with other embossing folders? Yes. Oh, and here, let me show you how quick and easy. So I've got my embossing folder, I've got my wet wipe, and off it comes. Because you're not using a permanent ink like a StazOn, it just wipes right off. Yes, you can leave it for a day or so. It's better that you don't, but yes, even if you do, it will still come off. Look at that. Done. Ready to be used again. No worries about ink transferring. But then everybody at the Make and Take asked, well, can you do it with other embossing folders? And the answer is yes, you can. You can do this technique with any embossing folder. I have an Anna Griffin embossing folder here. And what I want to tell you, when you're using an embossing folder that you're going to do a background out of, you always want to ink both sides. With the Sizzix, I just did the one side I knew I was going to want. I only inked the side I knew that was going to do the cushion and all the outline and leave this the ivory. But if you're going to do a background, a background embossing folder, my recommendation is that you do the whole thing. And I'm gonna take some Memento ink. I've got my yellow here. And I'm gonna put a whole bunch of yellow down. I'm starting with my lightest color first. Remember, lightest color first. And I'm doing both sides of the embossing folder because you never know which side you're going to like better. So let's get some yellow on here. I'm gonna get some, maybe just a little bit of red on here. And again, I'm just kind of hitting. I'm hitting and missing. In no particular place am I putting any color. Just kind of a hit and miss. And then how about just a little bit of the green? And again, just a little hit and miss. Have no idea what this is gonna look like. And that's the fun of it because you're just using paper. You know what, I might just go back and add a little bit more red. Okay. So I started with my lightest color, yellow, then I used red, and then I used green. And as you can see, it just looks like a hot mess. But I'm going to take my paper and I'm gonna put it inside and I'm gonna close it. And I'm gonna send it through our Big Shot machine. So bring it back over. My do not cut plate. My cut plate sandwiched on my embossing folder, sandwiched in between. This is a Cuttlebug Anna Griffin embossing folder that I'm using. So you can see that you can use all different types of embossing folders. Let's move my Big Shot out of the way again. And let's open it and see what we get. So there's one side, but maybe that's not the side you like. Turn it around and you have a totally different look. One side is going to do the debossed side of the embossing folder and one side's going to do the embossed side. And it's just beautiful. Here, I did this one earlier. Look at that. It takes your embossing folders to a whole new level just by adding a little bit of ink. That's all I did was add just a little bit of ink. Let's wipe that down just real quick. And this time I will just use one color. Let's go ahead and let's just use the green. And I'm gonna put it all around. All around. See how I'm swirling? All around. And then I'm gonna do it on this side. All around. And I'm not going to do any other color but the green. That way you get a better visual. Take my paper, put it inside my folder, close it up. That's what I've got. You can see where the green is going to transfer. Let's pull our Big Shot machine over again. do not cut plate. My cut plate so it's all sandwiched. And send it on through. Hear that? That's okay. Don't worry. It's not a problem. Your machine's not breaking. I promise. Let's move this over there. You ready? Open it up. And look at what we've got. Or look at what we've got. Let's cut it in half. So one side or the other side. It's up to you which one you like better. So that's why you ink both of them. If you're going to send it through the machine, you might as well ink both sides because you don't know which side you're going to like better. Right? Make the most of your crank. And then you just take your wet wipe and wipe the ink right off, and it's all good. So you can absolutely layer your colors, but remember, you always want to start with your lightest color first. You don't want to put this dark green down and then put the yellow, because what will happen is your yellow pad will then have that dark green on it and you will contaminate it. So always remember, start with your lightest and build to your darkest, and you will just be left with sheer yumminess. Absolutely fabulous. Really, really, really great. And the colors are just, what you can do is just make your own backgrounds. Or if you buy a die that happens to have the embossing folder, the bonus embossing folder, look at what you can do by just adding ink to that embossing folder. You take it to a whole new level. You go from here to here. And then if you get creative, you can cut parts of this out and layer it. Let's see, do I have the sample? Let's see. Oh, here. So we did the background of the chair in a light brown. And then we embossed the chair again, cut and embossed the chair again in the red, and just snipped it out so it made the center of the chair red. Isn't that a cute sample with the tree behind it? That's Elizabeth Craft's 5-part pine. And this is the Kaisercraft texture stamps. Isn't that cute? So what did we do? Easy. We took our die from Sizzix. We cut it out. Remember, this is steel rule, so you can do grunge board, you can do chipboard, you can do thin acrylic, you can do foil, you can do several sheets of paper. We die cut it out. We put it in the matching embossing folder that it comes with, that we inked up ahead of time, lined it up, and sent it right through our machine. And if you have basic embossing folders, you just take those, open them up, use whatever color inks make you happy. It's only paper. You're just putting paper in here, so try it. Grab some of your inexpensive whiter cream paper and try. You will be so excited with how it comes out. You'll put color combinations together that you never would have thought would work, but it does. Give it a whirl. Sizzix has made it so accessible to do this, and just to make, people will ask, how did you go in there and color that? Well, you don't have to tell them. I wouldn't tell them. Let them think you slaved. That's using embossing folders with the Memento dye-based ink. And then we also talked about how to get the most out of your stamps, and how Kaisercraft has done some fabulous stamps that allow you to have really great background stampability without a huge cost. Now, I do want to tell you one thing about the background stamps. When you get them for the first time, peeling them off this acrylic, you need to peel them off the acrylic that it comes on. It's a little tough. It's not so easy. So you can see I'm having a little bit of a time. I am not peeling it like this. That's not what I want you to do. You could rip your stamp that way. Yes, these are, you know, they can tear, absolutely. So what I want you to do is peel it all the way across the top so that the whole top is there, and then start to work it down with your thumb. Just start to peel it on down with your thumb so that you're peeling it all at the same time. Now, once you get this off here, let's go ahead, we're just gonna do it all the way down. Once you get this off here, it's never this hard to get it off again. And this piece of acetate here is your storage system for it. So almost there, almost there. Work it on down. And almost. All right, poof. Okay, it's off. Now this has the pattern. I don't know if you can see it. This has the pattern of the stamp on it, so that when you go back and put it back on here, you know what stamp this is. It's got the pattern printed on that acetate. And then once you've done it, peeling it off is never a problem again. It's just that first time that you do it. Also, when you're dealing with clear stamps, the first time you use them, you either want to take them and wash them with some Dawn dishwashing detergent and kind of brush them off a little, wash them off a little bit. There's a little bit of a coating on there. Or if you don't have the time and patience to do that, just know you're going to have to ink it up and stamp a couple times, and then your impressions will come out beautiful. First time you use it, it may not give you the impression you're hoping for. Just get a piece of copy paper, really inexpensive copy paper, ink it up and maybe make 5 or 6 impressions, and whatever film was on it will be taken off and they'll stamp like just beautiful. But I do want to tell you, don't pull. Don't do this. You want to just work it on down. And then after you've done it the first time, it's easy breezy, no problem at all. Peel it off, put it down, sticks like a dream. Okay? And remember your Memento inks, buy the big sizes for colors you use all the time, but stick with the dewdrop, save your money. If it's not a color you're going to be going to all the time, save your money, and that way you get more colors, you get more in your arsenal of colors to play with, okay? So we did the stamp, we did the die cut, we have done it all, and I think I'm gonna show you some samples. I have got some yummy samples that we did. I love that. I think it's just so beautiful. So here is the chair in green. And this time, I don't know if you can see it, but we took and we used the chevron stripe as the background. And here we did the chair in blue with a yellow background, and those are teeny, teeny, tiny dots. Little teeny, I've never seen dots so small. Little teeny, tiny dots, all done. Let's see those little teeny dots are this one here. And we just went right down. And then we did the chair in the brown. I've got the 2 brown samples to show you. So cute. This was everybody's make and take. And we did it in the red, and with the red we used angel pink. The little tiny triangles is angel pink Memento ink in the background. And then we did the chair in the red. And I already showed you the one with the Christmas tree, where we cut out the middle of the chair. We die cut this one, the big chair, and colored it and embossed it, but then we die cut out a red chair, and we just fussy cut out this piece here to fit. Really cute. But then they did a birdhouse that comes with the embossing folder. How cute is that? So you get the birdhouse and the embossing folder, and you can see we've used the Distress Harlequin on the back. How cute is that? And they did leaves. So this time we did the birdhouse, and we incorporated the die cut that has the leaves and the embossing folders for the leaves. How cute is that? And last but not least, the weather vane. Just darling, so country, so French country. Love it. So now the dies are the chair, the weather vane. Remember, it comes with the embossing folder. Look for that bonus. The birdhouse comes with the embossing folder, and the leaves. The leaves they're just all wonderful. Look at how cute is that. Just wonderful. And that's just by die cutting them out of paper and then inking the embossing folder to give you this. That's how we did it. All right, and real quick, some of the stamps. There's 5 new Kaisercraft stamps. They're kind of hard to see because they're textures, but they're really pretty. And at $3.99, man, you get a lot of bang for your buck. We'll have them all on a YouTube Yummy. We also have the Memento Dewdrops, the Memento Full Size, the Memento Re-Inker, which you can re-ink your full size and your dewdrops. And last but not least, we have the Memento Marker. And you always want to have the marker. If you've got the color, regardless if it's in a dewdrop or a full size, you always want to have the marker because it's your oops pin. Let's say you go in and you stamp something and it didn't come out exactly the way you wanted. You have just a little tiny hole. Well, you can take your Memento Marker and you can either draw in that little line that's missing, or you can re-ink the stamp just in that one place that it didn't stamp well, stamp again, and you're good to go. You always want to have the marker. It is your oops pin. That's what you have it for, because it's easier to fix a mistake with the Memento Marker than to stamp again and again and again, and you're still not getting the image that you want. You can go in and just fix it right away with the Memento Marker. So if you've got any of the colors in either the full size or the dewdrop, you absolutely want the marker to match. And then eventually you'll need to get the re-inker because you don't want to replace them. You'd just rather buy the re-inker. The re-inker will re-ink this probably 10 times and probably the full size pad 3 or 4 times. So why buy them all over again when the re-inker will do just as well? Okay? Gosh, is there anything else left for me to show you or tell you? I don't think so. I think that I'm ready to tilt on up and here we go. And say, hey everybody, it's me, Stacy at Scrapbooking Made Simple. It has been my absolute pleasure to share the past year with you. I've had a ball. I hope it doesn't end. And I'm looking forward to a great 2014. We have got so much to tell you, so much to share with you. We've got exclusive deals coming. We've got, we'll be the first ones to YouTube certain product. There's so much in the works. And I'm gonna try. I'm gonna listen to my dad and I'm gonna continue and I'm gonna do something. And even if it's wrong, I'm still gonna try, because if it isn't quite right, we'll fix it and we'll make it right and get it better. And I hope that you guys do the same. You've given so much, so thank you very much. Where are you gonna get all these great products? Well, you're gonna go online and you're gonna shop at www.shop, the word @atsms.com, and you can find all of these on a YouTube Yummy. And next time it'll be 2014 when I see you. We'll have new YouTube winners, so post your comments so you can be a YouTube winner. We'll start all over again and have some wonderful winners. And to all of you and your family, happy holidays and Merry Christmas. Bye.